What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Pyrostasis here, and we're just going to talk a little bit today about the future of the channel, what some of my plans are, what some of my brother's plans are, what we're going to be doing over the next couple months, and then talk a little bit about EVE Online. Now, first off, with the channels, what we're going to be doing is we're going to keep streaming pretty much every night. I will be streaming mainly between 8 and 10 p.m. My brother is going to probably stream, I believe, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. And then we'll have dinner. And then after dinner, probably about 11 p.m., we'll probably be just streaming some League of Legends or some pickup games in StarCraft or something along those lines. Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays are still going to be FPS days. Tuesdays and Thursdays, at least for now, are going to stay Skyrim. But things may change over the next couple weeks. Still going to be partnering with FPS Guru on Wednesdays, so definitely hang out and check those out. This week we're going to be doing Team Fortress 2 on Wednesday, and we haven't quite decided what we're going to do the following Wednesday. We may do some Battlefields. It just kind of depends. So if there's any games you want to see on FPS Wednesday, let me know in the comments below. Some of you may have noticed that my brother has started his own YouTube channel. That's Dr. Waddy, youtube.com/drwaddy. He's going to be covering primarily MOBAs. That's going to be like League of Legends, Dota 2, Heroes of New Earth, those type of games. Probably primarily focusing on League of Legends with a little bit of Dota 2. And then he's going to be doing some Skyrim as well. So this week, or maybe actually it'll probably be next week, we're also going to be giving away a 1-month membership to Xbox Live on my stream. I'll be posting more details about that, well, talking about more details on that on Wednesday. So if you guys want a chance to win a free 1-month membership to Xbox Live, definitely make sure you catch our stream on Wednesdays. And I think that more or less sums up the channel news. A big milestone for us. We broke 2,000 subscribers on Friday, I want to say it was. So I just want to thank you guys so much for the support. Just started the channel really back in October, and it's grown crazy. And I want to thank you all for subscribing. Thank you all for following the content. I definitely couldn't do what I do without you guys, and I really appreciate really all the kind comments that you guys give. It's just a great feeling to be able to make content and then have people enjoy it. Usually the internet is a very harsh place. You do something and people are going to tell you why it sucks and how much they hate you, and you should get AIDS and die. But you guys love me and I love you guys, and it's just great. So anyways, one of the guys, I think it was Gearox, had asked about EVE Online, and this is actually EVE Online here. This is, you can do the captain's quarters, or you can do the what they call station spinning, where you just see the dock. But I personally prefer the station spinning because you can actually see your ship. And as you can tell, I've got a fairly decent machine. And the captain's quarters, as you can see, takes forever to load. So there it goes. Of course, then again, I am in Jeddah, and Jeddah is kind of like the Walmart of EVE. But I did want to show you if it will ever load. There we go. This is walking in stations, so to speak, or really just walking in your captain's quarters. You can see your little pod down there, and then there's the ship. But Gearox had asked, what was so special about EVE? Why am I no longer playing SWTOR, and why, what's got me coming to play EVE? Well, I'm going to first off say that I am a sandbox junkie. For me, sandbox games are pretty much the only reason I play MMOs. I do try periodically to play the theme park games. I've played pretty much every MMO that's ever come out, mainstream-wise. Granted, there's probably several thousand Korean grinding free-to-play games that I haven't played, but I do try to play all the mainstream AAA games just because I do like the genre. That being said, for the theme park games, I really don't hang around for very long because I just get bored. The storyline's great. I usually like the characters, the gimmicks, but I don't know, the grinding just gets to me, and that's pretty much, to me, all that the theme park games really have to offer. You're grinding to 50, and then once you hit 50, you're grinding the dungeons for the gear, or you're grinding PvP for the gear, and then once you've got that, you're more or less just either waiting till the next content patch, or if you're PvPing, You're just raping all the other people who haven't finished their grinding, etc., etc. And it's just not a whole lot of fun for me. Grinding battlegrounds, I guess it's rewarding to some extent, but you're just fighting over something that doesn't matter. It doesn't mean anything. You're just, collecting points, and that's it. For sandbox games, it's usually totally different. And now, for Eve, I'm going to go ahead and pull up the map here. This right here is the star map. This is every single, I guess you could say, zone in Eve. Every single one of these individual little dots is a system, and each of those systems have planets and stations, asteroid belts, etc., etc. Now you're going to notice there's two different colors here. The ones in the middle, little light green dots, etc., etc., those are what we call high sec, and the little orange dots and the yellow dots, those are low security space. And low security space is kind of like the outlaw band. In low security, you can engage without the police coming and killing you. Now, I would say that green and blue space is safe, but it isn't really safe because you can suicide gank. If you engage somebody in friendly space, high sec space, the cops are going to come and blow you up. So you definitely going to have to pay a price to do that. So it doesn't happen all that much. There are a few guilds that specialize in it, but I've played Eve off and on since 2003, and I have never been suicide ganked. That being said, once you get into 0.4, 0.3, 0.2 space, low sec areas, pirates do live there, and that actually happens to be what my group is going to be doing here shortly. Now you're also going to notice these little pink spaces. That's actually 0, 0 space. That's what we call null sec. Out there are no rules. And that is also the places that you can actually own space. And by owning space, I mean you literally claim it. It is yours. And then you fight over space. Well, these different areas of space have different... Whoops, wrong button. These different areas of space have different upgrades. And you can actually turn your area of space into better areas. And you're going to see there's little areas here, like military level 5, military level 4, military level 1, and then, obviously a ton of space that has absolutely no military level at all. Well, when you take a system, you can drop an iHub and a sovereignty claim unit, and that more or less says you own the system. And then the iHub is what they call an infrastructure hub. This allows you to upgrade or downgrade the system, so to speak. So when you get your system, it's got some NPCs that you can fight in there. It's got some rocks you can mine. It's got some cool little places for you to explore, but it doesn't necessarily have what you're looking for. Think of it more, if you want to put it in WoW terms, you've got normal dungeons, but you want heroic dungeons so you can get good gear or good items or, whatever, good money. And Eve is pretty much the main driving factor. So to do that, you upgrade your military level. Well, you actually have to kill monsters, and as you kill monsters, the system, so to speak, gains experience. And then once it reaches level 2, you can put the level 2 upgrade, and that spawns level 2 monsters. And then you can do level 3 and level 3 monsters, etc., up to a maximum of level 5. And once you hit level 5, you are the top end for military. And then there's strategic and industrial. Strategic is more defense-oriented. With strategic, you can put things that won't allow enemy capital ships to come into your area. You can connect different areas of your space to make an instantaneous teleporting device, basically, and things along those lines. And industry is going to be, obviously, minerals. You're going to get these big asteroid fields that are huge. You mine them out, and then they instantaneously respawn. And so owning space in Eve is kind of pretty much the entire point of the game. Now, there's going to be a lot of people that hang out in Empire and don't claim space, and they're going to argue, well, no, Eve is what you make it. And that is true to an extent, but a large portion of the game's design and everything along those lines, and the politics and all of the infighting and everything, is based around 0, space and based around owning space. Now, at the moment, you can click on Sovereignty, and you can see everybody. All this space is owned out here. Somebody, like Test Alliance over here owns that one. You hold your cursor over here, Nemesis has that. Up here you've got Intrepid Crossing. This area right over here has been at war for last 2 or 3 years by several different groups fighting over it. And so you're constantly having these wars going on with different people coming and fighting over the system, taking the system, and ground giving way back and forth. And you can pull up sovereignty changes, and like right up here you can tell there's been a lot of sovereignty changes going on up here. And you can hold your cursor over it and you can see So and so lost sovereignty and so gained sovereignty. And this is where the conflicts are going on. And this right here, this long little red line is going to be one region to the next. So, what you got is one body down here and another body down here. And the front lines, so to speak, usually seem to end on these points right here, these long extension points. And that's where the wars happen. And so there'll be a big war here, and then a big war here, and then somebody will move in, and it looks like somebody's gotten a beachhead over here and is pushing in. And I haven't played Eve in about 3 months, so I'm not sure who owns what space now. But this right here is one of the primary reasons to play Eve, because in World of Warcraft or Rift or Star Wars: The Old Republic or whatever theme park game you're playing, you're fighting in a battleground, but it doesn't matter. It's just points. You're getting points for gear. That's it. If you're doing arenas in WoW, that matters to an extent because, you're obviously rated, you're ranked, but to me that's more along the lines of a League of Legends game. I'm doing a fight against a group of people that I have no idea who are, and as soon as I queue again, I'm going to be fighting another group of people who I have no idea who are, and eventually, if I work my way to the very, 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 very top, I'm going to be playing against the same top 5 or 10%, and I may notice the names then. But on average, you have no idea who your opponent is. You have very little relationship with those individuals, and there is no real conflict other than the fact that they're red, you're blue, they need to die. With Eve, you'll have conflicts that last months or years, and it's just a huge, huge fight that goes on and takes 20 or 30,000 people. And I can actually impact your gameplay, and you can actually impact my gameplay. So, if you and your guild, anger me somehow, then I can make my guild's whole purpose to come and take what your guild has, or push your guild out of your area of space, or just legitimately kill you guys until you run out of money and you can no longer field ships and afford to live in a certain spot. Now, that brings the other part of Eve, which for me is a huge deal, and that is, whoops, clicked the wrong button, the crafting and economic side of things. In Eve, every single item, every single ship, every single bullet, mod, upgrade, etc., for the most part, there are a few exceptions, but for the most part is made by players. So when you're buying a ship, you're actually buying a ship from somebody else, and that ship was constructed by somebody, and they bought minerals from somebody else who actually mined those minerals. And so you have the whole cycle of life. You have your PvP pilots who are fighting and blowing up ships. You have your industrialists who are making ships. You have your miners who are producing the minerals to sell to the industrialists who make the ships, who sell it to the PvPers. And it's one vicious circle. And the PvPers blow ships up, so things are constantly leaving the market. If you look at things like WoW or Star Wars or something along those lines, if I make you a sword in World of Warcraft or a blaster in Star Wars, you're going to have that blaster forever. Now, obviously, I'm talking about endgame. If you're a level 50, or actually I guess it's level 80 now in World of Warcraft, or if you're a level 50 in Star Wars, if I make you a piece of top-end gear, that's it. You've gotten that piece of top-end gear. I have gotten rid of you as a customer, and I will never really work with you again unless I'm selling you another piece of gear. But if you have the best sword in the game, you're not going to go buy another sword. You're not going to go buy another piece of armor. Well, you also aren't going to be buying the best sword in the game from a player, and that's the other side of things. Well, with Eve, if I sell you this ship, you're going to lose that ship eventually. You're either going to get it blown up by NPCs, you're going to get it blown up by pirates, something is going to happen to that ship. Most likely, there are very few exceptions, but most likely at some point in time, that ship's going to be blown up. And when that ship's blown up, you're going to want to come buy that ship again. And so that allows for a continuous, healthy economy. So ships are constantly being destroyed, ships are constantly being rebuilt, repurchased, etc., etc. And that right there continues to make the economy worthwhile. So you can actually, unlike some of these other games, have people who play 100% for crafting, or industry, or production, or, whatever the hell they want to play for. Ooh, I have got to get off this station.
Warp drive active.
Go, 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 go! I'm currently in a guild that, oh shit, that is at war. I will be leaving them shortly. I am also rather unliked by the police. I am what they call red. Well, not completely red. I'm negative 3.45. So because of that, That's kind of like what I was talking about earlier with the low sec. In low sec space, you can engage in combat, but when you engage in combat, you are going to be penalized for it, and that's kind of like your. Oh, I guess there actually isn't a theme park equivalent to that. I have done bad things, and therefore I'm a criminal. And because I'm a criminal, the guards, so to speak, do not like me in their space. And so they will attack me on sight, and I'm probably going to lose my ship here. This is a newbie ship, so I don't really care. But they will attack me on sight. As you can see, my little ship. Of course, now that I'm in warp, you can't see it, but my little ship's on fire, and the warning labels were going off. If this was a Star Trek episode, then all of the red shirts would already have been killed, and there would be warning klaxons going off, smoke all over the place, and I would be screaming at the engineer to give me more power to shields. But I don't know. Those are just some of the reasons why EVE Online appeals more to me. Now, obviously, it's not going to appeal to other people, and I'm not saying that sandbox games are the only way to play and that theme park games suck. I'm just saying, for me personally, sandbox games are the way to go. You know, Skyrim would be the equivalent of a sandbox game. So that is more or less why I'm not playing Star Wars anymore. I'm not saying that Star Wars isn't a good game. It's just I don't want to grind, and I'm just not digging it anymore. But I will be playing EVE Online soon. We're going to be doing a lot of PvP. We're going to be doing a pirate guild, or corporation as they're called in EVE Online. We're going to be going and finding a nice little pocket of low sec and more or less killing some innocents and obviously some other pirates, other groups that are going to be looking for PvP, etc., etc. So if you're interested in seeing that type of content, obviously this video hasn't had hardly any action in it at all, other than me warping to a Stargate, which is not very exciting. But once we get into some combat, that will be exciting. So that's the type of thing you would like to see later on. Let me know by clicking that like button. Definitely feel free to leave comments in the section below. And I'll be getting back to making some Skyrim clips here pretty quick. Going to be finishing up with the Assassin series. Oh, the ship goes down. Sad face. My little newbie ship is gone. I'll be doing some more of the Assassin series this week. I need to get back over to the mage line. I will be doing joining the Imperial Legion and the Stormcloaks this week because a few people have asked for me to follow those quest lines and more or less let them know what the difference between the two is and what the benefits and such are. So I will be trying to get that as well, and I do plan on actually finishing the Thieves Guild quest this week. So definitely stay tuned for those. I hope you guys are having a great week, and I'll catch you guys in the next clip.